drivers to your cars.
Alright everyone, welcome to the 14th, 13th, sorry, I don't know why I said 14th, but 13th race of the Cubecar Championship Series season. We are on to the fourth section of the season, or next little set of 4 races coming up. And this section consists of this track, Armory Digital, Nashville, Phoenix, and Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, aka Montreal. Our track today is Armory Digital Superspeedway, a very interesting layout of a track. You'll see it's also very futuristic in design and also has some interesting billboards and thingamabobs all around it. So it should be a fun race here today at this Superspeedway. And fun fact, while I was waiting for this...
Drivers, start your engines! Is that okay?
While I was waiting for the stream to start, the race actually started on its own. I forgot to pause it. So it already had a lap done before I realized that things were going on. And so I had to reset qualifying. It was originally the 17 that was on pole. That was Tosta. But now Bowser, the 85, is on pole for today's event. No time. So I guess we can say that qualifying was officially rained out. But now it looks like we got clear skies for the rest of this race. Or for this whole race. Should be a good race here today at this Superspeedway. I've had a lot of action on this track in the past. Has not been televised yet before, at least not on this channel, but I've done a few races on this track before, both in Sims and in offline racing, or in online racing, and it's a pretty fun track. Although due to its Darlington-esque corners, it makes things a little bit weird, but hopefully we shouldn't see too many crashes today. But hopefully we could actually have something not stupid on our hands like we did with Bermuda. So look at the city skyline in the background. You can see all the ads. You can tell this game's a little dated because of the ads on the back of the screen are from games that were racing around that time. This track is from 2017. So you'll see stuff like Deus Ex, the Nintendo Switch, Infinite Warfare, all that stuff. Battlefield 1, Halo 5, but it's somewhat culturally relevant. Battlefront 2, Mass Effect trilogy, Titanfall 2, all the major stuff from around 2017, and the Nintendo Switch. This track is also based off of a website that hosts a bunch of racing, painting stuff. And we We are ready to go racing here at Armory Digital Superspeedway for the second to last Superspeedway race of the year. And next up is Coca-Cola Superspeedway. And now we are racing at Armory Digital, 96 laps at this Superspeedway race. I also did not test this track, so if you have any issues, that's mainly from me deciding to not test it. Toasto in that 17 way up on the top lane back there. Raccoon almost looked to make it 4 wide on the inside of turn 3, but Baguette behind him, or ahead of him, is going to hold him off for now. They're way up the track going to the top lane. You can see the 98 is sparking up, just gets so close to the wall. They are 4 wide there for a second, and it looks like they're going to remain 4 wide onto the tri-oval. This track is very similar to Talladega in how its finish line is placed. It's not in the middle, it's towards the entrance of turn 1. But you can tell with this 4 wide action, there's probably going to be a wreck run here soon, but you could say the racing at this track is pretty similar to Pigs Creek. And if you saw that race last season, you know exactly how that went for some of our contenders. But right now, the 66 of Grimnir Nation leads the pack, followed by Crush Cube of the 24, and Hedgerton in the 06 making his way up on the outside. Problem is, it's very easy to get shuffled out of a track like this. As Shadow's looking to make it 4 wide for the second row back. They're about to be 4 wide, 2 deep back there. Maybe even 3 deep. Look at this pack racing. Hedgerton almost got turned by Crush Cube there. Almost caused a huge pile up, but a lot of guys are looking to just try and get through this race clean, especially those that are high up in points right now. Shadow's going to lead that lap by a hair over the 66. And here comes Baguette on the inside with our defending champion Raccoon in the 45 to push him. 31 of Space Cube also there to help, as well as the 01 of Curb, who had that dominating win out of Martinsville. Raccoon lost a lot of momentum exiting the straightaway, or entering the straightaway. Now, Space Cube's looking to take the lead away here. They're still relatively spread out, but not too crazy close together just yet, although U-Haul got pretty comfortable with Hedgerton there on the middle lane. Of Cars 3. Track as Shadow hits the wall going into turn number 1. So you got to be careful about hitting that high line, is that you don't want to get too close to it and potentially jeopardize the entire field around you. A lot of different leaders potentially could happen in this race before things start to get crazy, so it won't be long before we start to see some battles for leads. Now the 82 Sad Knuckles is out front for the first time today. Here comes U-Haul on the bottom lane. It looks like One Piece is down there as well. Suncube in the 56, our Daytona winner, could also make some moves to the bottom. Looks like Sad Knuckles is going to lead this lap in the 82. He's got a slight advantage over the rest of the field, but he's all by himself. He's not going to last up there for much longer. Seeing 4 wide at a track like this is absolutely no surprise, though. This track is extremely competitive in terms of how many lanes you have, just how far you can go without having any issues. Let's see what our spectator cam is like for today's race. Nice little corner shot. 2 more corner shots. 1 more corner shot, actually, just 2 in total. Here comes the 56 of Suncube to the bottom, trying to take the lead away, but Crush Cube is going to lead a lap. Or will he? Here comes the 93, and the 93 takes it across the line to lead the lap. Actually, no, Crush Cube did. Or did he? No, One Piece led it. Wow. Kind of wild how that works out. up front. They're still relatively close together, but also not trying to wreck each other. All the guys that are on the bottom just trying to make their way up, lead some laps, gets 5 bonus points, very valuable. You can see our points leader, Packmobile, that bright yellow 97, at the very tail end of the pack. He really needs to either get to the bottom lane so he can start making some moves, or hope everyone else gets shuffled out around him. He really needs to start making some moves here so he can at least try to go for a good position and stay up front. It's going to be difficult for him to do at a track like this, but it's possible. Spark it up, and Haruhi get a little close for comfort right there entering turn 3. Used to just need to be as careful as possible. It looks like the 19 of Igus is taking the lead away for now, but watch a Gogomobile in the 13. Let's see if he can take the lead away here and lead this lap. I think he got it. Maybe not. No, it was the 19. Let's see what the margin of 3/1000ths of a second on that one. Have you ever? Probably a couple times. But that was a very close battle for the lap position. Gogomobile, the 13, also now leads. Here comes Goob and Mr. Kill, both doing pretty decent in points so far. A good finish here would be pretty much a miracle at a track like this. Testo in the 17 also doing pretty good in points. He won the last Superspeedway race. Actually, no, he didn't. That was Road Toad. But Tosto has won a Superspeedway race. He won at Talladega, so he knows how to win at tracks like these. You can see Packmobile, like I mentioned earlier, trying to make his way back through the field and retain his points lead over his biggest rivals. Hedgerton and Raccoon make a little contact out of turn 1. That's not what you want to see if you're going 4 wide. Daisy especially probably should have britches right there, watching what was going on in front of her. Now 2 of the cubes that led laps earlier are now falling back on the top lane. They're just getting shuffled out. That's a normal activity for a track like this. Daisy and Gogomobile making a little contact on the back straightaway. About 5 wide now between McQueen, Heihachi, Daisy, Gogomobile, and I guess barely went 5 wide there for a second. That's the kind of stuff you see at tracks like these. You see some crazy racing. Oh, 70-sider gets on the bottom lane. You cannot go below that yellow line. That is a no-no. That is a penalty. If you pass someone below that line, a double blue line in this case, that is a penalty. Air traffic cone now leads the field. We're seeing a lot of field fillers get out front, get some bonus points, but he's not really doing too well in points, so not much of a difference for him. The one field filler that's doing really well in points is the 60 of Le Cube de Baguette. He's having a very good run, especially of recent. Has been on a string of top 10s. Since these cars are so small, it's harder for them to draft, but also harder for them to turn each other by accident by clipping the hitboxes. So it makes it easier to drive in places like this. We're starting to see them get a little bit wiggly here at this track. They're trying to find the right groove and stick to it. Well, I better not wreck, as if they continue to go green for this whole race like we've had at 2 of our 3 Superspeedway races that we've completed this season, then we could see some shenanigans, especially on pit road, because pit road is very interesting to say the least. Because the exit is like a huge banked corner in itself, so the exit is probably the most interesting part of this whole track. See, the field's starting to spread out a little bit. This big front pack right here is still doing pretty well together. Or pretty bunched together. Hedgerton and Tosto side by side as Raccoon graces the wall, and he can't get off of it. Now he gets off of it, almost gets right in front of Packmobile, and that could have been way worse for our points leader and our defending champion. Air traffic cone currently doing a pretty good job staying out front. He's got two cubes that have not won races this year. The 66 of Grimnir Nation and the 23 of Dragonite. Here comes Dragonite looking to make some moves on Grimnir Nation right here. Galligan, the 16, a past Superspeedway winner from last season. That's the only race he's ever won was the Daytona 500 last season. And he's looking to end a huge losing streak in terms of races. Like I said, Tosto's been pretty good at Superspeedways. Meloetta has won at Superspeedways before. Road Toad won at Bermuda. Whimsicott's been pretty good. Klonoa finished second at Bermuda. Best finish this season for them. Mr. Kill's been good at the Superspeedways. So has been Heihachi. Goob has been decent. Daisy's been good. Sheepmobile looks like has lost the draft back there. That poor 30 cannot catch a break at these kind of tracks, especially after the big wrecks. Haven't seen any just yet, even though the racing has been kinda scary at some points, but we'll just have to see what these guys do, try and make it to the end without wrecking each other. But right now, Traffic Cone is the class of the field right now, sticking ahead of the 66 and the 23. No one can really get in a run on him except for Dragonite, who's going to go to the bottom, and it looks like Traffic Cone's not going to try and block. It's very risky to do it on the corner. But Dragonite is going to be side by side with the 22. Almost. He's not even cleared him just yet. Tosto now gets a great run on the bottom lane. He's going to try and make a move on the 23 for second. Goes way down on the bottom, and here he comes for second place and potentially for the lead, as he's still got some great momentum from carrying out turns 3 and 4. What a move by the 17. Grimnir Nation, though, trying to block off the 96 of Roto, trying to make a move on the outside lane. Very difficult to do at a track like this, but it may work sometimes. We've seen some runs in the outside lane on the Superspeedway, so that could be integral to winning a race in a photo finish if that is possible. See Daisy's up here as well. Looks like Gunn in the 47 also making some moves. There's Haruhi in the 55, not too far from the top 10. Cold Steel's making some moves as well. Mainly some guys that have been shuffled out. We're now in the mid-pack, so looks like the 66 is making a run for the lead, though. Here comes Grimnir Nation diving down to the bottom, trying to take the lead away from the 22. Gonna be 3 wide for the lead at the start-finish line. Who's gonna lead this lap? Wow, that would have been such a good photo finish there, if that was the actual finish. Look at that margin between first, second, and third. That is wild right there. If the NVIDIA Shadow Play thing pops up, that is normal. I just clip that. I'm testing out the Shadow Play stuff, so hopefully it doesn't fuck up the stream. I'm looking to see if it does or doesn't. I don't know how far back the stream is, but it doesn't look like it's too far back because it has been buffering on my end a little bit. But hopefully it's not buffering on you guys' end. Heihachi, though, in that 34, and Galligan, the 16, trying to make their way up front as the One Piece takes the lead away. He was actually pretty strong at Bermuda, looking to repeat that performance here at Armory Digital. As the pack has started to form up once again in the back, has Cold Steel and Dragonite making a little contact on the front straightaway. Still door to door. Oh man, Space Cube got in the wall a little bit there in the exit of turn, enters turn 2. Here comes Heihachi for the lead though. Galaga getting pushed up by the 00 of Goob. Caution is out. Oh, Hubris, Haruhi, and Bowser have all crashed, and they're stuck on the apron. And it looks like we totally missed that, because I did not hear any, Oh, Bowser just was stuck behind Haruhi. Oh, don't get stuck on the apron, Bowser. Don't get stuck on the apron. Okay, good. Well, we're under our first caution. They're racing back to the line right now. Who's going to lead the lap as they race back to the line? It's going to be Goob. Barely gets it. And they all got to slowly slow their way back down. But it looks like multiple cubes were involved in our first wreck of the day. Let's see what happened to these guys up here. It was lap 18. So looks like Haruhi got turned around. Hubris, looks like Armory Jr. got involved. Hedgerton got a little damage. He should be okay. But let's see what happened to this 55 to cause her to go around. Oh, yeah. Haruhi and Hubris made contact. Couldn't get off of each other. And bam, right into the wall. Just a classic case of running too close to someone. And 3 strong contenders were already taken out of today's race. 2 cubes that are doing pretty decent in points. Both Bowser and Haruhi, but Hubris is not doing too good in points this season so far. It looks like she's already out of the race. No, that's not the case. I did not intend that to rhyme, but Goob led the lap as we came back to caution, so looks like they're all going to be pitting this time by. That makes sense. They're at lap 19, so the pit window, I assume, is probably around lap 30. And you'll get to see how interesting this pit road really is here at Armory Digital. First of all, look at this Formula 1 styled paddock right here where they all come onto the pit road. Like, it's way too big for all the pit stalls. Oh, the 00 has a tire failure coming onto pit road. That's not really going to change that much, though, because they'll be changing those tires anyway. That is the 00 of Goob. But they're going to pit now and try and get that fixed. They may have an extended pit stop, though. But let's see how Heihachi does on this pit stop. Here's a good camera right here to see the results of who gets done on pit road first. Here comes Suncube in for his service. I like all the real cutouts of people that are just in the stands, but it looks like Goob is going to win the race off pit road. One Piece is going to come out second. Looks like they're taking right side tires only. Pretty normal at Superspeedways. Tire wear really isn't all that crazy. We'll look at all the spots lost and spots gained when everyone else comes off, because this is a pretty big track, so not a lot of craziness going on up here. Looks like Sheepmobile gained some spots. So Goob, then One Piece, everyone else behind them. All, well, Grimmer Nation gained a spot. Anyone else gaining some spots? So no, looks like it's all relatively the same throughout the field. So no one really had any issues on their pit stops. Haruhi and Hubris are now lapped down, so they're still fixing the damage they got in that first crash. So trouble early for some heavy hitters on the Superspeedways, especially Hubris and Haruhi. Both of them have been pretty good on Superspeedways this season, but have not managed to lock up a win, which is crazy for the 07 because they won like 2 or 3 races last season. Also, interesting note about this track, the animated graphics on the road. That is something you don't usually see at tracks like this, but this track has animated graphics on the top groove in the corners, which is really neat. Oh, on the front straightaway as well, but it is a very Cars 3 looking track. It's like the one that they race on in the end scene where Cruz Ramirez goes on to win. Spoilers, but who cares about spoilers in a Disney movie unless it's like Incredibles or something? I don't know. Those are the ones that we only care about nowadays because they all kind of stink. Whereas nowadays they all kind of stink. They used to be so good, so fresh. So we are not going back to green this time, but it looks like Hubris has gotten off of pit road. Haruhi now taking tires and servicing that car. Looks like the 55 and the 07 both taking the same, or relatively the same, pit strategy as everyone else. Looks like the 11 of Pot got damage in that crash too. He pitted for damage, repair, and same with the 02 of Armory Jr. So everyone who is normally involved in that crash is getting repairs for damage, so I don't think the 11 or the 02 will be that much off the pace. But we'll have to wait and see what happens to them after this crash. Look at this banked exit off pit road. This is a cool little pit road exit. And the caution lights are so, like, they're hard to tell what's actually going on. You really got to look at this little indicator right here to see when the caution is out on the track. Let me change the light a little bit to be a bit more yellow. That should be good enough. Should be a bit more than that. Like that. There we go. It's more orange, but should be good enough. So now everyone else is still running after that first crash involving 5 cubes. Puck, Bowser, Armory Jr., Hubris, and Haruhi were all involved. All of them are still in this race. And I believe all of them should still be on pace, although the 55 and the 07 are the only 2 that I am worried about. And Bowser, I think, will also be on pace, but who knows what the case will be on that one. We'll have one more lap to go until we get back to green here. We have the longer cautions on this track, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's probably because they didn't think about putting in special sectors for that for the pace car. So we will be going back to green on lap 23 here at Armory Digital. The nice Pontiac pace car leading them down the track. Nice little Grand Prix. Rest in peace, Pontiac. So there we are, going back to green next time by, so we're going to be patiently waiting for our return to racing as Haruhi and Hubris both going a lap down. Looks like Hubris is back on pit road to get left side tires and also fix damage. So potentially could go another lap down since she's fixing damage again, so who knows what will happen to her there. Get my normal water. And Hubris back off of pit road after getting left side tires and damage. She will be on better tires, but I believe she will have the aerodynamic disadvantage, so she is not currently really at it today. But if this track existed IRL, I would totally go. It is a very, very pretty looking track. It's very fun to race on too, like I mentioned earlier, but unfortunately, it's not real. None of this was ever real, Golden Freeman. The eventual Half-Life stream. That'll happen one day, I swear. When I get back to Twitch, I swear I'll stream it one day. I know I have Half-Life 2 in my inventory, I just need to get, or not inventory, in my game library, I just need to get Half-Life 1, and the series would be complete. Maybe Alex too, because I have a VR headset. Maybe that'll do. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Going back to green this time by, Goob will lead them to the pack. Only 2 cars are a lap down, the 55 and the 07. And only 1 caution so far today, so it looks like we're going back to green here at Armory Digital. And we're racing once again in Gamerland, as I call it. So now we figure out how off the pace these guys are that have the damage. Looks like Bowser might be holding up Armory Jr. quite a bit, but well, Hubris seems to be fairly off pace, but Haruhi seems to be fine. For now, at least. As Goob will now lead the pack back to green. Won't be long until the pack starts forming up yet again, so look out for that. As Crush Cube goes way down the bottom of the block, the 70 is 70-sider back there. What a bold move by the 25. Now the One Piece with help from Galaga gets out to the front. One Piece will lead that lap, but here comes Galaga to the bottom lane. Suncube to help. Two Daytona winners on the bottom lane pushing each other, but Suncube's going to go to the bottom and take that lead away. Now remember at Daytona when some Cube made that daring 3-wide pass for the lead on the last lap in the last couple of corners to win the Daytona 500, and he got it. But here comes Traffic Cone, the most dominant Cube of the day, with help from Crush Cube in the 24 trying to take the lead away. Here comes Heihachi and Goob as well trying to make their way back to the bottom. Looks like Haruhi isn't doing too bad on pace, but looks like Hubris has already faded out. Looks like these two have already faded back quite a bit as well, so they could be a significant roadblock to those. Here comes Crush Cube for the lead, the 24. And the 22 leads that lap, but only barely. Crush Cube will stay ahead of the 00 of Goob. Wide for second place right here. Here comes 70-sider on the bottom lane. Another field filler up here up front. Also a race winner at a very interesting road course called Fort Wayne, where he ran back in season 1. The original season 1. As his only win in the series, and since then he's been relegated to field filler material, but he's made the playoffs before, and back in the playoffs era. And now he's going to be 3 wide for the lead with Crush Cube and Sun Cube. It looks like the 56 is going to get it this time by. What a battle. Oh, wow. The 00 and the 22 almost got together there. That's what caused that first wreck. And now the 19 and the 34 is Heihachi goes way up to the top lane. He doesn't know what he's going to do. Like I said, the pack is starting to form up yet again, but now we've got a second pack back here. With Cold Steel, Daisy, Road Toad, some of these guys that have lost the draft a little bit, but they're still relatively fast. They just aren't up in the lead pack, so they'll need another caution so they can get back up there. Here comes Klonoa in the 79, who finished second in the last Superspeedway race. Almost won it, lost the Road Toad in the end, but here comes Klonoa looking to get some racing redemption here at Armory Digital. Here comes Lightning McQueen as well. Another Superspeedway winner, I believe. Well, someone's way on the apron back there. It is Goob and Dragonite. Goob's got a problem. Goob is slowing on the apron. I don't know what happened to get him out of line, but he is blocking Dragonite. That could have been much, much worse for the 00. As he is slowing the rest of the pack down behind him. He is way off the pace. He must have gotten punted by somebody onto the apron, which caused him to almost get wrecked, basically. Now the pack is once again split, which could be better, could be worse, depending on who you're asking. Klonoa now up front with McQueen and Spark It Up in tow. And an error has occurred on the playback on my stream. Oh boy, hold on. Let me see if I can get this fixed. Well, I guess I have no playback on my YouTube tab, so... Or at least on my PC, so that's kind of weird, but... Is it still running up here? Yeah, it's still running, so I'll just use my phone for chat for now. So unfortunately, I have no playback on my main viewing screen for some reason, but looks like we're all good back on my phone, so... That's a bit of a weird thing. I've never had that happen before. But Spark It Up in the 98, gonna take the lead away from Klonoa. Here comes Whimsicott in the 89, Igus in the 19, then Gogomobile Mellowood on the bottom lane. And one Superspeedway winner on the bottom, looking to try and take the lead away. Whimsicott could potentially be another one of our many leaders we've had so far today in this race. Making sure my phone volume is off so it doesn't go through my microphone. Oh, Igus goes way down to the bottom to take the second place away from Whimsicott. Looks like U-Haul and Suncube are getting pretty close for comfort back there. They still are. Exiting turn 4. Looks like might be Igus leading this lap. It's going to be close between these two. Looks like Spark It Up is going to get it right here. He's going to lead that lap once again. Although the 19's got a better lane choice than him. Oh, and around goes Heihachi into the field! Oh, they're all sliding, slamming down the track as the big one happens in turn 2. Crush Cube is involved. Oh, they're still wrecking. Look out, Baguette. Heihachi's done for the day. U-Haul's involved. Space Cube's involved. Curb is done. McQueen is done. Packmobile, our points leader, is involved. Gun is involved as well. So is Sisyphus, Mr. Kill, Traffic Cone, and Sun Cube. Oh, what a big mess here at Armory Digital. And that'll put us under our second caution of the day. And a lot of guys getting stuck on the apron there. That's pretty normal on a track like this with high banking. Heihachi with the terminal engine damage, he's probably done for the day. He was a contender to win this race. He was up front leading some laps, but now our second caution is out. So I guess won the race back to the line. So let's go back to the 34, see what happened to him to cause this crash. Oh, a Sun Cube. Whoa, 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 whoa. What happened here? It's the same thing that happened to Goob earlier in this race. They were going 5 wide, it looks like. Or 4 wide. Oh, and Sun Cube got turned by U-Haul. I want to see what happened to the 16 after this wreck after we get done looking at this wreck. Oh, but U-Haul comes back up the track into Heihachi. And they all just slam into the wall. Curb piles in. Sad Knuckles piles in. And I'm surprised none of those guys up there got any damage that just flew by as Heihachi slows down. I want to see the POV of the 16. Because he looks like he made it through that wreck without any damage whatsoever, which is wild. Well, he got a little damage, but let's get a POV of the 16 of Galaga right here. Actually, let's go interior view. Almost got on the pit road right there. Bam! He actually got a pretty big hit, so I don't think he's gonna... And what a move by Gentle Cat and by Puck and by Sheepmobile to all avoid that wreck. And now let's go on board with the... who else can we go on board with? Let's go with Heihachi. Since we're gonna be... Since the cautions usually take a while on this track. Actually, no, let's go on board with Sun Cube. Oh, Mr. Kill almost blew over there. Or rolled over. Almost had a Kyle Busch moment. Well, all the guys that are involved in this wreck, most of them still on pit road. But the guys that are involved in the last wreck, I don't know how they're doing. A lot of guys still on pit road, but Haruhi and Hubris still 1 lap down from being involved in the first crash. If you're just tuning in, we have had 1 crash earlier that was Haruhi, Bowser, Hubris, Puck, and Omori Jr. all got involved in 1 minor crash in turn 2, or turn 1. And then that most recent big one that has claimed multiple cars in this 1 crash. Looks like we've already seen some retirements. 31 is done. 34, Heihachi is done. 26 is done. That is U-Haul, who is done for the day. Oh, Grimnir Nation's done for the day. That's a shame. They were really fast. Goob is done. Sad Knuckles is done. Looks like he's going to be last car because Hubris is still running as of right now, and so is Haruhi. So it looks like the 82 of Sad Knuckles is going to be your last car winner. And it looks like we're going to see some pit strategies. Gogomobile comes down pit road. 22 is out of the race. No one else is coming down, though, which is interesting. Although for the guys that are already still on pit road, have not retired yet. But Gogomobile is the only leader to come down pit road that time by. Looks like the 19 is going to lead them back to green. So McQueen is now out, 70-sider is out, Sisyphus is out. Looks like the 23 is out as well. That's Dragonite. Also the 31 is out of the race as well. So big crash takes out multiple contenders here at Armory Digital. We've still got a couple more laps until we go back to green. So just bear with me. Be patient. We're actually probably going to go to some POVs while we wait. I'm just going to drink some water. So let's just look at some POVs of that crash real quick. Let's look at the Packmobile, who's just now coming off the pit road. His damage isn't actually too bad. He just got stuck behind the 82, who was pretty much stuck on track from being done for the day. Let's rewind a little bit. Go to the 82's POV, because he took some big, nasty hits in that crash. Or he plowed into that. He's like an ARCA driver. Oh man, U-Haul got some crazy air right there. Let's go on board him. Look, he's still sliding through the grass. Look at that. And he's still got going after those crazy hits. And here's one of the ones that got forced out of line by the 56. It's just like Talladega 2019. Dang, almost went over. And he's sliding through the grass. Almost hits the inside safer barrier. But he keeps it going. I think he's still in this. Oh, never mind. He's out of the race. So a lot of contenders already taken out of this race. Packmobile is still in it. He is 2 laps down, coming back on the pit road with Crush Cube. So they might actually be done if they pit now. Ruhi, Hubris, and Sun Cube all multiple laps down, coming onto the track. Yeah, these two also pitting for damage repair once again. So Suncube's probably going to be the slowest on this restart because, well, actually no, Curb was involved and he's still going. So is Gallagher's still in this race, which is surprising. He took some pretty big hits in that wreck, but everyone else pretty much in front of them was not involved. So a lot of heavy hitters like Road Toad's still in it, Klonoa's still in it. Let's see what Sheepmobile can do now that he's in the top 10. He was pretty much at the back, lost the draft early in this race. And now Pac is up here, who has a little damage from earlier. Spark It Up is now up here. Hedgerton's back up here again after losing the draft. Basically everyone from the 0-2 on back has damage. So Daisy, One Piece, Curb, and everyone else in between is damaged from that big one. So now everyone from Igus all the way back to Le Cube de Baguette, unless I'm wrong about that, are undamaged. About 17 or 18 cubes. That's just normal super speedway activities. I also see that Gunn has retired from the race as well. He'll be passed by the rest in a second. Going back to green this time by, though. I guess we'll lead them back to green with Meloetta second, Tosto third, Whimsicott fourth, and Spark It Up fifth. Ready to go back to racing here at Armory Digital. So Hubris, we learned from last time, is not on pace. Or was on pace. Look at Packmobile making some moves back there. He is multiple laps down in 28th, but since he got those newer tires, he is slicing through the field right now. He really wants to get those laps back, and he could easily get one of them back here if he passes the leader. But you can tell he does not want to give up for a good position here, even though he is running 28th and could lose the points lead, because his main competition is still in this race. Where's the 13? Actually, the 13's out, isn't he? No, he is on the lead lap, but he's probably going to lose a bunch of his momentum because he was involved. Yeah, he's losing a lot of time right now. So Packmobile and Gogomobile still might be in a pretty heated battle for the top spot in points after this race. It'll probably be even closer now unless something happens to one of them. But a bit of a 4-car breakaway from our lead, or 5-car breakaway actually. Although, it won't take long for that 71 to catch up to them. That's Gentle Cat, who had an amazing wreck avoidance last time around. And then Among Us, Raccoon, and Cold Steel's going to round out the top 10. And Tram, and now 11th. Shadow in 12th. 13th. Actually, Daisy and Hedgerton are still relatively fast. Although, Daisy I'm not entirely sure about, but Hedgerton could still make it back up to the pack if they aren't too terribly slow. But Curb is not doing too great right now. Neither is Sheepmobile or Klonoa, so they are way off the pace compared to the 180 miles per hour we're seeing from, I guess, our leader right now. All by herself, though, she's not going to have that lead for much longer, as here comes Whimsicott and Toasto making a run on the bottom as she takes the middle lane. Interesting choice. Here comes Tram on the bottom as well, trying to make up some spots. Gets on that double yellow line. Remember, you cannot pass under that double yellow line. That is a penalty. And you will be black flagged for that. Unless you get back to position. But here comes Whimsicott trying to get a run on the lead. Whimsicott goes way down to the bottom. Try and pass Igus for the lead. He has a run, but I think the 19 might get it here because it's faster on the outside. On the straightaway, especially this tri-oval. Looks like Igus is going to lead it. And Whimsicott will take second away from Spark It Up. 3 wide there for the 4th spot. Milliwetta now ahead of Tram in the 42. Then Shadow in the 3. Shadow also winless from last season and looking to get his first win. Since he's up here in this pack, he could easily get up here and fight for the win if he doesn't get involved in the crash, which is still likely, but not entirely out of the question. Ooh, Spark It Up making a very aggressive move to the outside of Tram. The thing is, now that these packs are much smaller... Ooh, Spark It Up hit the wall a little bit there. Now these packs are much smaller, we're probably, and I say this with skepticism, but we're probably going to see less wrecks overall in the rest of this race. Here comes Whimsicott looking for the lead on the bottom lane of the 19. Got a potentially a 4-way battle of CGP participants right here. Whimsicott, Milliwetta, Igus, and Shadow all representing. Here comes the only KRU member in the top 5, the 42 of Tram, and the rest of them all behind them are all KRU members, except for Spark It Up. He's also CGP, but... Whimsicott will take the lead away, but Igus led that last lap, and she's going to fall back because she's on the outside lane. So, if these guys continue to run together towards the end of the race, they could be your contenders fighting for the lead towards the end of this one. But now they're catching up on our first batch of lap traffic, who are not running too terribly great. So let's see how they deal with them. Although this track is very wide, so it'll be easier for them to get around this lap traffic. So let's see what they can do here as Tram making some moves in the bottom lane. Milliwetta looking to take it 3 wide for the lead here in turn 1, but that's not very smart to do when you've got 2 incredibly slow lap cars coming up very soon. Shadow went way up on the outside there, but let's see what our leaders will do to get around Klonoa and Sheepmobile. Ooh, threading the needle with those 2 guys. This Cold Steel almost got brake checked completely by Klonoa as the pack now splitting up a little bit because of those 2. Spark It Up and Daisy both get around, but the rest of the guys behind them are not getting around very easy. Curb is their next target, but he is pretty decently far away. I must say that we have a lot of also pretty good points positions up here up front. Tosto, Baguette, Igus, and Tram especially are some of the higher ups in points right now. A win here for any of those teams would be great for their chances of winning the championship, especially for Tram, who's won a couple of races already this season at 2 road courses, but he has not really done much since. Came close to winning at our last road course race, but he did not get there. That was at Sonoma. And now he's going for the lead on the 19, but the 19 is going to have a run on the trial, but I don't think she's going to get it. And Tram barely gets it over, I guess, there. And Among Us in the 51 trying to make his way up there. Remember, Among Us was technically the winner of the All-Star race last season, although under a different number. That was at a road course, though, and I hadn't seen the 51 be all too great at road courses this season, so maybe it's a bit of a different strategy for that team this season. But now Tram's still trying to take the lead away from Igus, but she's going to be at an advantage here at the tri-oval, because that is faster for the outside lane. Here comes Curb. They're going to be slowed up by the 01 potentially. Let's see how they get around him. He's going to take the middle. It's going to be difficult for the guys behind him, especially Among Us, who's getting blocked by the 01 right now as he goes to the top lane. Blocks Shadow and Gentle Cat. They get around him, but they lose a lot of momentum to the leaders, and that's especially bad for Shadow. Now he is attempting to get around the 01, but to not much avail. He finally gets around, so these guys are all going to have to work together to get back up to the leaders, even though they're not too far back, but being all alone in a little group of 4 isn't really going to help you too much in terms of drafting power. As our next target are the One Piece and Galaga. Got an alert on the chat boxes, the 56 of Suncube with an oil leak. He's going to have to probably come down pit road for that. He's just now going into turn 2, so... So even more problems for the 56 after being involved in the big one. Now a bit of a tandem draft between Igus and Tram. Let's see how far they can get with that. Igus really does not want to tandem with Tram. Although technically that's how trams work, right? Yeah, they're all coupled up right next to each other. This would be a part of the system. But now he's going to try and pass in the outside lane. Buddy, you're at a super speedway. That's not going to work in the corners. And here comes Whimsicott trying to take advantage of the 42's mistake. That was his mistake. These guys back here trying to make it to the end. Klonoa's on pit road for damage repair. This might actually be the next round of green flag pit stops because Klonoa's already gone on and pitted, so... But also Klonoa's pitted for damage, so... And also Suncube is on, but that's normal for him. Let's see if anyone else comes down. No. Doesn't look like anyone else is coming down just yet. We may start seeing green flag pit stops pretty soon, which could either bunch this field back up together again or spread it out even further. Which could be good or bad for these leaders. But now let's see how they get around 2 lap traffic cubes that are both occupying different lanes. Tram is going to go way down the bottom trying to take advantage of this. And them being slowed down is allowing this pack to catch up behind them. Here they come, right behind, trying to catch up to the leaders. Still having trouble getting around Galaga and the One Piece. Igus and Meloetta go way up to the top lane. 79 has blown an engine. And a horrendous season for Klonoa is just going to get even worse. As the 79, with another engine failure on the season, is just going to park it on the apron. And hopefully that's not a caution. We'll be able to look at the strips up there by the top of the wall and see if that'll be a yellow or not. No, it is not. So Clonoa is going to make it back to the pit road. But like I said, an absolutely horrendous season for that team is just going even worse by the minute. That's now catching up to the slow Cuba Sheepmobile. Looks like Shadow could probably try and take the lead away here. In the 3. Having the 3-car win at a super speedway would just be kind of poetic, considering its history at tracks like those in real life. So a Shadow win today would be very cool, if I do say so myself. Ooh, Sheepmobile almost gets turned by the 42 trim, snapped down the track almost into the 3. And now they both split the middle, except for Gentle Cat, who doesn't really know what to do here as Sheepmobile tries to go to the bottom lane. Gentle Cat has to go to the bottom here to try and pass him, but Sheepmobile will not let him pass whatsoever. This is making things more and more interesting for these leaders. They don't even know how to properly deal with these guys just yet. Here comes Among Us trying to battle for the lead here with the 19. Slow Cubes of Crush Cube and Hubris right ahead. And it looks like Clonoa is done for the day. Actually, no, Clonoa is still on pit road, but they're probably going to be done for the day. As now all the leaders go down the bottom past the slow cars. But Shadow's just trying to get to the end of this race without anything happening to him whatsoever, as we are just about... Actually, I think we are past the halfway point of this race now. Actually, we just got past the halfway point of this race, so... Now with 46 laps to go in this 96-lap race, only about an hour in, so... Let's see how it goes for the rest of this field. The rest of this race, which we have a couple of green flag pit stops, maybe just one green flag pit stop left in this race if they're still running at these speeds. It just depends on when they pit soon, because their first pit stop was under caution. So now the leaders are starting to get pretty crazy again. Look at this big pack right here. Wadding up together. Look at Daisy back in this pack once again. Remember, she is 3 laps down. Actually, is she 3 laps down? Let's see. Weird, she's not showing up. Oh, she's on the lead lap. Remember, she was involved. She was not involved in that last crash, but she was further back at the start of the race. So now she's actually getting back up in the top 10 and making her way back through the field. So a great recovery for the 44, who is split up at first from our leaders, but is now caught up thanks to these lap cars, which could make things a little bit more interesting for the rest of these guys. But it'll be a while now until they catch back up to some more lap traffic. Probably the longest green flag run we've had so far in this race after our first caution not too long ago. Hedgerton and Pock now caught up behind the slow Cube of Suncube in the 56. Not doing too hot. But if we get into the caution, they could catch back up again, but it's going to take a lot of procrastinating from the leaders to actually cause another yellow, because this is the biggest pack we have right now of competitive racers. As the rest of the field, well, has kind of died, as you can see right here. Whimsicott once again trying to make a run for the lead and stay out there. He's not yet clear of the 19, as the 19 has better runs on the outside on the straightaways, but here comes Shadow to try and push him out front. These two have been historically pretty good at super speedways, but let's see if either one of them can get their first career win so far this season. As Cold Steel in the 74 also could try and get his first career win here today. Will be a great track to do it at, as this track is quite a spectacle to behold in terms of its futuristicness and its size to suit your mood. Basically, everyone now in this top 12, even after they pit, they could probably go on still to potentially win this race. So everyone up here now is a competitor. As Daisy's going to try and make it 4 wide back here. We know what happened last time they tried to go 4 wide and got really close together, so they got to be really careful with what they do here to try and make it to the end of this race with no issues whatsoever. Who's going to lead this lap now? It's the 89 by a hair who leads the lap. So considering how many close lead changes we've had so far in this race, we could potentially have a photo finish as the 42 gets checked up by Sheepmobile now. Tram gets slowed up quite a bit, and he and Toaster and Gentlecat especially are going to fall off from the leaders. And next up is Curb. They're catching up to him very quickly now, so let's see what happens with the 98 and the 19. I'm going to split the middle once again. It's much easier to do that in the corner than it is on the straight. And Samelaweta almost goes up and smacks the wall. So Whimsicott leads. Cold Steel now back in second. Maybe not this lap, but the 19 did not get there first. Here comes Daisy pushing Cold Steel down the track. And could potentially get to the 74 to his first laps led this season, I believe. Took him 13 races, but he finally done did it. Or he's about to do it. Or he's about to do it, really. Among Us in the 51 also could potentially be a sleeper to win this race, even though he is a field filler and he does not count for the championship. Winning here today would be a pretty big deal for that team, as they did not win at all when they debuted in Season 1, or the original Season 1. Neither did Baguette, but both of them looking for some success here today at Armory Digital. Sparked it up in the 98 on the bottom lane, trying to make his way up to the field. He did not get that much of a run on the back straightaway because he's at the bottom, so he is just going to have to dive down and try and make some moves on his own. But he's going to get blocked by the 7 and the 44 up there. We still have a pretty big lead pack, about 9 cubes all running together. Sizable effort by a not so sizable pack, but a super speedway. This is especially a good pack for a win. Steel now led his first lap of the race last time by. Daisy's going to try and push him up front. Can this cube get up front and lead this race? Potentially win it? Well, no. Whimsicott's going to say no to that for now, but here comes Daisy on the bottom lane. He could potentially be in contention to win. The big question is, can he do it? Actually, there's quite a few that have not won a race in general. Whimsicott has yet to win a race. Cold Steel has yet to win. Spark It Up, Shadow, Baguette, and Among Us all have never won a race before. So, a lot of potential for a first-time winner today, which would be huge for them. Then again, we have one more pit cycle left in this race, and I believe they can make it to the end on their current fuel and tires, because the tire wear at this track is pretty much non-existent, unlike how it was on Bristol on Sunday, where the tire wear was terrible. So, thankfully the tire wear here seems to be a lot more generous this time. Pace car jump scare there for a second. Spark It Up in the 98. Looking to take the lead away, lead his first lap of the race, as Daisy's now up front for the first time tonight. Getting around the lap car of Sheepmobile, they've got a lot of lap traffic coming up here. Both the 93 and the 16 once again taking both lanes. Let's see what they can do here. Whimsicott gonna not really dive down to the bottom just yet, as we got an alert on the box. And it's 13 of Gogomobile on pit road, so he's taking tires and fuel. Just the right sides though, which is interesting. So maybe he's confident that his left side tires can make it to the end? Who knows? Who knows what's in the mind of that 13? Daisy's the first to get away from these two blockers, though. The 93 gets away, so does the 98, 7. Basically, everyone in the top lane is getting absolutely... Well, no. I guess and Cold Steel could get around here if they can, and it looks like the 19 gets away pretty easily from these slower cars. Other alerts. It's the 19 on pit road, so looks like people are making their way on pit road. I actually might have missed that because I looked at my phone for a second, but looks like green flag pit stops really are going to start here, as Ike is taking left side tires, so looks like they're going to try and make it to the end on their right side tires, which is very interesting considering they have about 33 laps to go on their current run. But you don't lose that much time on a track like this, so... Let's see what the 19 is now. Just leaving pit road, so she's going to be fine for a little bit if she can get back up to speed. And she'll be part of this group right here that's up to speed. So maybe the short pit strategy will work for the 19, because she is going to have to pass a lot of people once she gets back to green, and she'll be on faster tires, but her tires will degrade. Not as fast, considering it's Superspeedway, like I said, but... They'll be a little bit at a disadvantage towards the end of this race if they can all make it to the end on their current tire strategies. So now it just depends on when everyone else will come down, because either the 19 had a problem or the short pitting is real on that team, so could be strategy, could be a miscalculation. Move this so I can see the chat box for later. Now Whimsicott trying to lead the rest of this race. Curb is slowing them down once again. Among Us is coming down pit road, so he's going to be the next to come down during these green flag pit stops. Looks like Armory Jr. is on as well, so is Road Toad. So yeah, green flag pit stops have officially begun here at Armory Digital. So let's see how these stops will work out, especially for that 19 who went ahead and short pitted extremely early. Let's see how that strategy plays out for them, as well as the 51. Oh, interesting. The 51's only pitting for fuel, so they're gonna be confident in their tires to the end of this race, which is fascinating to say the least. And now more leaders coming down pit road. Shadow, Daisy, Cold Steel, Spark It Up, and Baguette all coming down now. All getting a lot of time to slow down to get on pit road. Looks like Raccoon, Packmobile are on as well. So now Whimsicott and Mellowutta are the only two of our leaders who have not yet come down to pit road. Getting around the slow car of Cold Steel. And now both of our leaders will come down pit road as Mellowetta will pass the 89 coming down the line to the rest of the race. We're down to pit road. Looks like Haruhi and Pak now leaving. Actually, Haruhi entering. Baguette is on as well, taking an extended stop on pit road for some reason. He might have had an issue coming onto pit road. He's pitting for damage, actually, so he's definitely had an issue for sure. So they're just pitting for fuel, which is really interesting. So they're confident in their tire wear to make it to the end of this race, which is not usually something I see the AI do in this game, so where are the rest of our leaders? Well, it looks like our new leader is going to be Shadow, who is all by himself, just came off of pit road. So he's all by himself right now. He's got Daisy and Among Us, who are faster than him. Well, not much faster, but they're in a little pack themselves. Spark It Up's all by himself, so is Cold Steel, and there's Igus. So it's going to take a caution for these guys to get back up to each other, so they're going to really need to catch a big break right here in terms of leaders. Try and get back up front, take the leader back away. Get a little bit of lag there, that's a little weird. Strange things happening on this stream so far, that's for sure. But really now the one thing that these leaders do not need is a caution flag, because now that these guys have slowed down, a little bit of a lead pack has started to form up again, this time with a 13 who is a lap down. But if a Gogomobile gets back on the lead lap, he will not only be in contention to win if a caution comes out, but he'll be back on the lead lap, which is basically what I said, but in a different way. And now Raccoon, so now it's just Spark It Up and Igus working together to get back up front. Shapemobil is now on pit road for damage repair. And tires, or no, just fuel actually. No tires, just gas. That's a valid strategy, especially at a track like this. It seems like that's the strategy everyone's taking now, is no tires, just gas, or damage repair towards the end of this race. But if we go green to the end of this race, like I am thinking they will, because they are pretty spread out right now, so I doubt we're going to get any cautions. But if they stay green to the rest of the race, we could, I say could in parentheses, because the pack is pretty small right now, but they could set up potentially for a photo finish, which would be pretty cool, if I do say so myself. The photo finish would be really, really good. We've only had one photo finish in this series so far, and that was at Columbia last season when Armory Jr. went ahead and, or not Armory Jr., Armory Sr. took the win. More alert in the chat boxes, more laps wind down. It's a 60 of Baguette on pit road. So he is probably going to be out of contention for this win, as Bowser now loses ground to our leaders. So Shadow, Daisy, and Among Us have all broken away from the lead pack. But now they've got Haruhi, Pac-Mobile, and Rotoad all ahead. You cannot, I know exactly who you are, and you cannot join. This is a private league. And I know you're not in the server that this is in, sorry, but there are no signups available right now. So, sorry, Skyte, I cannot allow anyone to join right now. Oh, Jesus, almost just pulled my headphone cord out. Don't want that happening. Now our three leaders have started to break away from the rest of this field. Let me adjust my headphones a little bit. There we go. So these guys are still relatively on pace compared to the rest of this field, because Rotoad has not gone a lap down just yet, I believe. Yeah, he's still in the lead lap. And Hedgerton in the 06 is still in the lead lap as well. And Pac-Mobile, our points leader, just needs to finish the race in order to do better than his best competition, the 13 of Gogomobile, who is 15th, but one lap down. Pac-Mobile is 23rd, 3 laps down, so he does not need to lose any more spots to the 13 in order to keep his points lead, which is probably going to be slimmed down quite a bit today. But I believe he will still have it by the end of this race. But here comes Shadow, trying to get to the bottom lane and try and take the lead away from the 51. Remember what I said at Rockingham, both Shadow and Daisy before the start of that race had never won a race, had been actively looking to win a race, probably the most out of the entire field, have been so close, but then Daisy won that Rockingham race, and now potentially could be Shadow's turn to win here today. We'll see how that turns out in the end for that number 3. But now he's potentially catching up on Packmobile, Haruhi, and Road Toad, so we'll see how that works out for those three. Meanwhile, everyone else on the lead lap is just on their own right now. Both Igus and Spark It Up running together, battle loans. Cold Steel's all by himself, so is Gentle Cat. Actually, no, they're tandeming. These two are tandeming it together. But not much is coming out of that, let's be fair. Not much left to go in this race. Only 20 laps left here at Armory Digital. I highly doubt we'll go back to caution, but... Oh, jeez. Oh, but Sheepmobile's slowing down our leaders a little bit. But all three of them get around him, as he is much slower than the rest of this pack. Shadow, Amogus, and Daisy all diving down to the bottom. Around Road Toad, who's all by himself. He's going to go a lap down, but what I'm worried about right now is if these guys can make it to the end on their tires, because their left side tires have got to be cooked right now, because I don't think any of the top three have pitted for left side tires since the start of the race. Because remember, at the start, all of our leaders took right side tires, then they didn't pit under the second caution. And under the green flag pit stops, they only took fuel. At least most of them did, so their left side tires have to be absolutely destroyed right now. Or at least on the verge of being destroyed. Unless all three of these guys took 4 tires, which we did not see, but maybe could happen. I don't know, maybe this will become a public thing one day, since the original Cubecar series is pretty much dead. Maybe it'll become public, but who knows. Although with me transferring over to a different university soon, it could be a lot harder to manage the series as things go on. I do plan for it to continue, it's just going to be difficult with how spread out everything's going to be for me. If I do intend to complete another season, it'll have to be done over the summer, and I do intend to get this second season done before the end of the month, which is why we're having 4 races this season to try and get this segment done. But it's still up in the air whether this will become public or not. But I don't know. It's going to be difficult to do once I transfer over to my new potential college later this year. But now, lap traffic, biggest fear for a lot of leaders, especially at a place like this. Look at all these lap cars they have to get around here. The 44 of Daisy getting stuck on the top lane with a bunch of guys in front of her. And here comes both Spark It Up and Igus, who are now catching up due to these guys being slowed down from the leaders. And here comes Among Us now down to the bottom lane. And Daisy still cannot get down. Galaga in 16 blocking the 44 now goes down to the bottom lane. He, I think, is on pace. No, he's absolutely not on pace. But now it is just Shadow and Among Us, as now he gets around our defending series champion, Raccoon, who was involved in the second crash. But now look at this, the 19 and the 98 tandeming together to try and make their way back up front. What is this, 2011? We don't see these tandems around here. But they have been working together pretty much since the green flag pit stops ended. Now making some decent headway to catch up to our leaders, and they're bringing the 7 along with them, as well as the 89. But this could get really dicey right here. Excuse me. With all these leaders and these lap cars together, this could be really, really scary. Also, the slow car of Curb actually passing people while the 48 with the 45 slowing them down. Pretty hilarious if you ask me, in terms of how fast they are. But now these guys have caught up to the leaders, and once again we have a battle for the lead. Or an actual battle for the lead instead of it just being 2 of them. But only one of these cubes has a win in their series career. Actually, now 2 of them, because the 7's caught up. Both Shadow and Spark It Up anxiously trying to get a win. If the 51 wins, it would not count for points because he's a field filler. And now the 56 of Suncube back on pit road once again. Here comes Spark It Up to take the lead away. He gets ahead of Shadow now. And with 14 laps to go in this race, well, anything can happen here, especially on a track like this. So we've already had two pretty major wrecks so far in this race, but they are relatively early on, so who knows how that'll end up for those guys. But our leaders right now just trying to make it to the end without getting separated or getting out of order from everyone else. Now the 19 of Igus back out front once again. I guess in the 19, now up to a pretty decent lead ahead of both the 51 and the 98. If the 51 wins, that would be a pretty big upset win, all things considered, considering they're a field filler, but I don't know. It could end up being one of our regulars that takes it in. Shadow's actually been pretty decent this season. He's just had not as bad luck as he did last season, but he could still... This race still ain't over yet, is all I'm saying. So things could change in a flash here at a track like Armory Digital. Spark It Up, though, trying to get his first career win. Shadow could also be a pretty good contender for first win. Here comes Whimsicott back up in this lead pack, as well as the lap car of Road Toad. If he gets a lap back and we somehow do get a caution, he could potentially be in contention to win, because he is still pretty fast. So he is on pace with our leaders right now, and he really wants to make his statement and win a third race this season. But now it's up to Igus, who is on a long dry streak in terms of winning races. And Meloetta also on a pretty decent dry streak in terms of winning. Although last time she won was at Pigs Creek, another super speedway. So looking to try and win on another track like this here today. But with coming down to 10 laps to go, actually it was 10 laps to go, or will be 10 laps to go this time by. All these guys, I mean, I'm still worried about their tires. I don't even know if they can all make it to the end, because if their left side tires are probably dead by now. Considering their lap times are not great compared to their fastest laps. Actually, I haven't even looked at the fastest lap of the race so far. It's the 08 of Sisyphus, who, might I remind you, was eliminated in the big one. 36th out of the race, and still has the fastest lap of the race. Here comes both the 51 and the 98. The 98 backs out. Here comes Among Us, but he did not have a great run. And the 19 goes down to blocker Will she, as the 51 still trying to get past her for the lead. Who knows if that'll actually be the case here. Is already out to a pretty decent lead once again. Whimsicott in the 89. Getting drafting help from the 3 of Shadow. There are 5 potential first-time winners in this group. And 2 of them could spoil the party here today. Those could be the 44 of Daisy and the 7 of Meloetta, who have both won races before. So we we have a very good chance of a goober winner here today. So if you're looking for someone to get a first-time win here today, this could be their chance. But now the only thing that these guys need to worry about now is the lap traffic, as both Daisy and Shadow have fallen off a little bit because of Sheepmobile. The next one they need to pass is Suncube, who is not on pace for sure, so he really needs to get back up there. Or at least get out of the way for these leaders so he doesn't cause more issues. But if he blocks the leaders long enough, that could allow these two back here to get back up and rejoin our leaders. So Shadow and Daisy right now are really hoping for Suncube to hold up these guys for just a little bit longer. Then you've got this pack of 4 right here with Bowser, Hedgerton, Toasto, and Puck all running together. Although Bowser's probably the slowest of the group right now. You know, he's off by like 6 miles per hour. But now they're catching up to the 56. How are they going to deal with him, though? Whimsicott got an amazing run out of turn 4, but that outside is so much better on the tri-oval. They're going to split around him, but Among Us is going to get stuck right here. And now the 3 and the 44 are both catching up as Igus leads yet another lap. Probably has led the most laps this race. I haven't even bothered to check the ticker, but it's looking pretty good right now. Who must have pinged me? Oh, I see. You're the guy being an idiot. That's what it was. So now it's just this bunch of 4, since the rest of these guys have fallen back because of our lap cars. But the next one they have to pass is the 85, who is on decent pace. Well, not really. He's still pretty far back on pace, only about 10 miles an hour slower. Now here's the big decider right here. Bowser and Crush Cube blocking both lanes. Who's going to be able to get out of this group first is now both Shadow and Daisy are back up the leaders. The 98's going to take a move down the bottom first. The 7 as well. And the 19 now stuck way up on the top lane, but she's making it work on that top. As Bowser, oh, he's really struggling on the bottom. He's going to hold back Whimsicott a little bit, but he is not as off pace as we expected, but now Whimsicott's going to get around him, or maybe not. And now next up is Hedgerton, Toasto, and Puck, who I believe all are on pace, so they could get integrated into this lead pack very quickly and could cause some issues for our leaders, excuse me. But now Spark It Up trying to win this race, but he's still got a lot more time to mess up. Now the first thing he's doing to mess up is letting the 7 pass him. But now all the leaders are back together again. Let's see which one of these guys is going to end up winning this race here today. Or tonight, really, at Armory Digital. Here comes Shadow to the bottom lane, trying to take the lead away in the 3. Curb, the next lap car, much slower than the rest of these guys. Same with the One Piece and Raccoon, all being slowed together. These guys could prove to be a huge roadblock to our leaders, and they're catching up to him real fast. Let's see what Shadow can do as they're all grouped together on the top. They're going to take the middle lane for now. Curb goes up top. Looks like Shadow, Meloetta, and Daisy are all going to be at an advantage here. Ooh, Curb goes way up top to block the highest possible lane he can. What? I don't know why the 19 keeps going to the top lane. They're going to be 4 wide here for second for the lead, actually, as the 7 of Meloetta makes a great pass for the lead. Shadow goes down to the bottom. He gets around the 93. Oh, and Spark It Up almost loses it while trying to get around Raccoon. Alert on the chat box. It is the 13 of Gogomobile in for a splash of fuel. He is out of fuel, but he was not going to make it anyway due to how much fuel he had left in his reserves. So I guess it's probably going to be the sore loser from that exchange. She did not lose the draft, but she did lose a lot of momentum and potentially a chance to win this race, as we're coming to the white flag this time by here at Armory Digital. Spark It Up and Meloetta side by side, coming to the white flag. That could have been a photo finish for the win if it wasn't the white flag, but here comes Shadow on the bottom lane trying to take the lead away. They still got Galaga, Hubris, Pock, and Hedgerton, but these 2 are the main 2 they need to worry about as they catch up to them out of turn number 2. Side by side on the back straightaway for the lead. Here comes the 19. Not too far behind, but could potentially steal this one away. Daisy now way on the bottom trying to get past Among Us. It's going to be a drag race on the start-finish, on the front straightaway to get to the start-finish line. Spark It Up way on the bottom. Shadow now trying to hold off the 19. Now the 19 goes to the bottom. It's going to be a drag race to the start-finish line. Now Among Us trying to take the middle line. Not going to do it. It's going to be side-by-side photo finish at the line. And Shadow wins it at Armory Digital. First career win for the 3. And just like Daisy winning at Rockingham, this is going to be a huge win for that team, who have been anxiously trying to win for the last 2 seasons they've been in racing. Shadow finally wins a race. Igus once again gets second at a Superspeedway. How about being Mrs. Consistency right there? Among Us gets 3rd, best career finish for them this season. Spark It Up gets 4th, Meloetta gets 5th, Daisy 6th, Whimsicott 7th, Gentlecat 8th, Tram 9th, and Coldsteel gets a top 10. And then a casualty list from the big one. But Shadow finally gets a win, and Racing Redemption is finally in his hands, as I struggle to find where my exports are for this season. There they are. Wait, hold on. I'm going to do it now. But Shadow the Hedgehog finally goes to victory lane here at Armory Digital. Long time coming for that team, but this Wednesday, we are racing once again. Actually, that's tomorrow. We are racing once again at Nashville Superspeedway, a track that had a lot, not this one, that's Nazareth. Nashville, we're out there. There we go. Which had a lot of action last season, so get ready for that one tomorrow. But thank you all for watching today for this exciting race here at Armory Digital. I'll see you tomorrow for the next race, and good night.